Yo, Happy New Year's Eve! Happy New Year, you evil Eve. Whatever. Okay, I wish you a very, very good time this year and all creative energy that is flowing around in the universe. I wish that it comes to you, to me, and we all have this nice experience of new music and art that we create this year. And if we don't, then we shouldn't worry, because sometimes it's not the time to make art, music, and just a phase, and then there will be time again where we do a lot of music, hopefully. Yeah, I'm just in a good mood and a bit tired because, New Year's Eve, I didn't party too much, but I celebrated my own music. I always turn up the music and listen to all the stuff I made over the year on New Year's Eve, and it's really a great thing. It's more like, don't listen to, oh, the bass should be louder and it should be longer. Just relax and just get into the vibe and enjoy my own music, and it's really a good thing. I really love to celebrate my own music. That's why I do it. I mean, I love doing it, but also listening to it. But sometimes you don't find the time or not the mood to get into it, but on New Year's Eve it's always, for me, a good time to do it. I do it more often on New Year's Eve, but yeah, especially on New Year's Eve. And I was pretty impressed and satisfied with what I did last year. So that's cool. I hope you are also satisfied with what you did last year, musically or in general in life. Yeah, let's start this new crazy year. I want to talk to you about playing techno live, because I think I can share some of my experiences and there might be some value in it. Some people talk about it because a lot of people make music on their hardware, techno music, and some of you are thinking about playing live, never done it before, and some other people tell you how you could do it, and maybe they didn't even play live either. So I think there's room for people to tell you about playing techno live. I have played in a few bands and a lot of live shows, and only a few with a techno live act, but I think I learned enough stuff to tell you a little bit about playing techno live. There's always a lot of stuff to learn on live gigs, so if you think about playing live, just do it. Of course you can think about a few things and pre-plan something or listening to all kinds of people like me, but playing live is always the best teacher. You learn so much. Even though everything goes wrong, then you learned a lot and make it better next time. Yeah, so just go out there and play live. But we can think about a few things first, and what I always think about it when it comes to techno, or not always, but from time to time, is what is techno? Or what was techno for me before it got all big and everybody knew what techno was, or didn't, I don't know. And I started listening to music, or to techno music, in the 90s, and it was really, really experimental and fresh, and it was called the sound of the future. And it sounds a bit cheesy, but it's also true, because the sounds really sounded new and fresh and futuristic. There were always tracks coming out with styles that I haven't heard before. So that got a bit lost. It's nobody's fault. That happens with styles of music that get played out, or sold out. There's money involved and everybody's doing it, and it gets more boring and more about money than about the music sometimes. So yeah, it's a good thing to think about it, because actually techno is doing something new. And when we or you want to play live, then I think it would be a good idea for you to think, yeah, I want to bring something new. I don't want to sound like this or that guy. I want to bring something new, and that's why I want to play live. I think I do that with my music, and this is a good reason to play live. I think this is the best reason to play live. And yeah, why do you want to play live? This is the next question. Do you think you have cool music and you want to share it with the people? Do you want to make money? It's not the best reason, I think, because first you will make no money. Later, of course, you can make money with it. But that's not really a good motivator, I think. Or maybe for you it is, but it wasn't for me. Yeah, it's most of the times unsatisfying. If you want to make money and then you don't make money, shit, then you stop or what? And then it's over. That's stupid. But if you do it for the love of music, then you won't ever stop. Probably. Because you still love it, even if you don't make money. Yeah, but that's the question. Why do you want to make it? Why do we want to play techno live? Is it because you think you need to do it? Because other people do it and you have to do it too? And you can't only be a producer and sit in your studio? I mean, that's okay as a reason, but still you don't need to. Because why? Of course, there are some people playing techno live, but there are more DJs playing techno. So you could also be a DJ. You don't need to play live. And the thing is, people won't really notice if you play live or not. Most of the people don't know. They don't know the difference between a live set and a DJ set. They see you behind some technical equipment and they think, oh, he's a DJ. That's what happens to us sometimes when we play live. After that they say, wow, nice DJ set, you're great DJs. Yeah, okay. First I was like, damn, these people are so stupid. Or like, why don't they value my craft? But then after a while I realized, no, they just don't know. It doesn't mean that it's not as good. They just think, yeah, that's really great, you're a DJ. They just don't know what you do, but for them it's like, oh, they're playing music and I like the music, so yeah, great DJ set. And yeah, that's totally okay. But for you, that means that nobody needs you to play live. I mean, there are not enough DJs who play techno. You don't need to be another techno DJ who thinks he plays live, but people think he's a DJ, so what are you actually? Just because you think you are a live act, but everybody down there on the floor thinks you are a DJ, maybe you are really a DJ. So yeah, what I want to try to tell you is there's no need for you to play live unless you really want to, and you don't have to expect that people will love you because you play live. They will love you or love your music because your music is great, but not because you play live. I mean, if you do a live show and throw cakes at people, then maybe they will love you for that too, but I don't think that's your goal to do with your live set. And yeah, so are you doing it for the love? Cool. What I really liked about playing techno live is a bit similar to playing live with a band. Playing a bass or all kinds of instruments, it's really cool to hear them loud over a speaker, PA, and really feel the vibrations, the frequencies in the room, the reverb, and the whole energy. Because if you hit a snare and it sounds really loud, then it's really a special feeling. Also with your equipment, with your synthesizers or whatever, if you tweak the filter live, like the bass sound, that's really a beautiful, crazy experience. Because before you probably sat at home with this stuff and maybe turned it up a little bit for some time, but you never heard it that loud, probably. only if you know somebody who has a great PA sound system. So that's a new experience. And if you think about it, in nature, all the loud sounds like thunderstorms or a big rock which is falling down from the mountain, an avalanche or something, what can be loud as well, maybe an elephant. This is all stuff which made us afraid back in the days when we were living outside in the nature, because everything loud could be dangerous. And that's why our body still reacts to loud sounds and bass frequencies. And that's why it's so great to hear or feel these bass frequencies and these other frequencies really loud in the club. And that's why you always feel so excited. And if you tweak this loud sound, these heavy bass frequencies, you feel like a god. You are something like a god. I mean, you're not God. I don't want to say that. But it feels like it because you have control over this crazy energy which could move. Like in nature, it would be like a big fucking avalanche that you unleash with your sound. Nothing in nature could make this loud bass sound or this heavy bass sound. So this is really a cool, special experience playing live electronic music too, because all these bass heavy frequencies and yeah, also the rhythms. If you put in a pattern, set some steps, and then it's playing that. It's a crazy feeling. And if you do stuff then and make it break and then turn something up and people are reacting to it, they might dance differently or they might even scream or whatever. This is a really, really nice feeling. And that's why I love playing live. Actually, while I'm talking about it, I get goosebumps because I love this feeling. And I think I should play live more often because, yeah, it's just such a beautiful experience. But there are other aspects that I don't like too much, so yeah, that's why I don't play live that often. But this feeling is really great, and this should be enough for you to say, yeah, maybe I want to play live. I mean, I think it's also cool to never play live. You don't need to, but if you have a little bit of feeling that you want to share your stuff, then this might be something that you can have in mind. It's really, really, really great to see your sound and people reacting to your sound, and your sound moving people and moving you too. Yeah. Oh shit. I just want to play live right now because I miss this feeling. It's also a problem because yeah, you can get addicted to this feeling. It was never really a big problem for me, but it can be. Especially if there are drugs involved too. You're alcoholic or whatever, because you always take these drugs before playing live, and then you have this feeling, this hype feeling with your sound, and this is a dangerous combination too, or can be a dangerous combination, and we see that with all kinds of musicians and saw that in the past. Yeah, but yeah, that is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. And now I want to show you some methods that I use for producing techno on the Digitakt, some tricks maybe. Here I'm recording the cutoff filter from the kick drum. Can be a bit too much, you have to try out what sounds good. And as you can hear, I used not the typical 4 to the floor kick drum. I like to break it up a bit and still make it sound like techno. This is the bass with some reverb, as you can hear. Trying to get it loud enough together with the kick, with some overdrive. My reverb is most of the time set to a specific kind of high pass, so the lows get cut. Because if you put reverb on the bass and you have bass frequencies in the reverb, it all gets very muddy. And now I'm recording a hi-hat or setting some steps, and I like to use different samples for hi-hats, longer samples or just noisy stuff. And then, as you can see, I recorded the starting point and just tweaked it randomly and see what comes out. So every step has kind of a different sound to it. And this knob is for the hold time or the length of the sample. And here is the LFO on the sample tune. It's pretty cool for hi-hats to give it different tunings for every step. I have the random LFO on there. So every step is different. Also with the panning, gives it a more wider stereo field. So the hi-hat is bouncing around left to right randomly. Can be a bit too much if it's the only hi-hat in the track, but yeah, there are no rules. Just try what you like. Adding some more bass notes. This faders for the reverb level. Now you can see what I'm doing. I think I'm using the cutoff. I tried to do most of the stuff in the Digitakt for this video, but when I'm playing live or jamming, I use the faders and the knobs of the MIDI controllers a little bit more. But here I'm using more of the Digitakt so you can see what I do on the window on the display. So I add some notes and put the probability a bit down on some of them so they only play every second time around or every third sound. I like to combine third and fourth and 2 seconds because then it moves around a little bit more than if you only take the second or the fourth for variations. Because if you put 3 or 5 in there, it's always moving around. Here I'm using the filter envelope to give it more snap, and it's pretty cool to use the envelope for bass sounds and see what comes out. And here I think there's an LFO on the filter on the cutoff too, so every step sounds a little bit different. Sometimes I use it on the typical 2 and 4, but here I switch it up a little bit. And I think with techno, if you keep it somehow repetitive, then it's always going to sound like techno somehow. It doesn't have to be the same rhythm every time, like clap on the 2 and 4, hi-hat on the offbeat. You can switch it up how you want and it's even more interesting. Of course, a simple 2 and 4 clap can do its purpose and be exactly the thing that you need for the track, or which gives it the best groove or a cool groove. But switching it up can get you really nice results. So just try what you want. Using the tune, random LFO on the tune of the clap, just a tiny bit, because every clap sounds a little bit different, but you don't think it's really crazy different. It just gives it a more natural feel. Now I'm tuning the bass. Resonance. It's cool with a lot of resonance, but you have to be careful because the bass frequencies also get boosted. So live, if you play around with the frequency on bass, it can be dangerous. So usually less resonance is better than too much, I think. But yeah, there are no rules really. So now I'm having a 6-step long sequence, and I want to add synth, some kind of synth riff or synth line. I like to work with different step lengths. It gives it more like I don't know, crazy feeling, or I mean, it's nothing new. It's typical for techno to have 6 steps or 7 or 5, 3, whatever, and combine it with 4, 8, 16, the typical stuff. You hear how it's moving around. There's also LFO on the pen, on the panning, so it goes left, right, randomly. Also random LFO on the sample hold, on the amp hold, so it gets a little shorter, a little longer each step. You can switch this around live, add some steps, take some away. Here I'm adding just one note. And live you can do this too. You might hit some wrong notes, but then you just dial a little bit more and then you hit a right note or a better note at some point, and it doesn't matter too much, you know. You can fuck up, but if you know what you're doing and you think, oh, this is not a cool note, tweak a little more, then you're on the right note, then boom, you have a nice sequence and nobody cares if there was some wrong note. is loud as hell and you switch up these different step lengths, then you already feel like some kind of wizard, because it all sounds kind of cool, but you just do a little bit of moving your finger like a wizard would swing his his wizard stick, his magic stick. I mean, it's not that easy, but if you practice this a lot, then it can be really fun to do all this stuff live. And after a while you don't make these many mistakes anymore. And even if you do some mistakes, whatever. If you don't fuck up the whole groove, then it's cool. And even if you fuck up the whole groove, just get it in the groove fast enough again so people can still dance. You have to be careful with the sample rate or sample decimation, I don't know what it's called, because if you really crank it up, you hear what happened. If I would do this live, I would have probably fucked up some ears, so you have to be really careful. I only did it because I knew this was not a live show, because yeah, this is a crazy one, the sample decimation parameter. Oh, bit reduction, yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, be careful with this. Yeah, you also have to keep in mind that you don't want to fuck up anybody's ears, so there are a few things that you have to learn and practice. Because if you fuck up some notes, okay, but if you fuck up the people's ears, then can happen once. If you do it a lot of times or even 3 times in the set, it's too much, I think. I try not to do it at all, of course. But yeah, you gotta know. You're a crazy wizard with a lot of deep and loud frequencies in your hand, so you also have to be very careful with some parameters. Here I'm tweaking the feedback of the delay and the filter. As you can see, I have it set to this kind of, narrow filter. So you can really tweak around like it. You hear it. I really like to sculpt these delay lines with it. And just switch up the delay time. And what I advise you to do is not only use the delay time which is on beat all the time, like 4s, 8s, 16s. Use the time between too, because it gets more interesting, especially with techno grooves. It's a little bit rattling, and especially if you crank up the delay, the feedback, it gets more interesting. It gets this grainy type of sound. So I just go by ear. I don't look at the numbers. all the stuff with the hold time and the delay feedback, I would usually control it with the faders and the knobs from the MIDI controller, but I do it in the Digitakt here to show you what I do. But if you have a knob and a fader for every parameter of the filter and the delay and reverb, it's really nice to play around with it, because you don't have to switch pages like I'm doing now, you know. I can use the feedback, but I can tweak around with the filter of the sound at the same time. But with the MIDI controller I can do it. It's really cool. So if you have a Digitakt, I really advise you to get some kind of USB to MIDI converter, or use the computer with it as a USB to MIDI converter and use a controller with it, because it's so much more fun. Digitakt is already fun if you use it as it is and jump around between the pages, but for live, especially in jamming, the controller is really great. Now you can hear the delay gets a little bit too loud, and on the MIDI controller I have a fader where I can just put the volume of the whole delay feedback down, so I can control this really easily if it gets too loud. But here I have to switch between pages.